It was the third time that week I walked outside to find concrete barriers blocking my driveway. December dawned cold and gray over Cedar Ridge, Colorado, and the steam from my forgotten coffee curled up like a signal flare of frustration. I stood there in my bathrobe, staring at 3 freshly poured slabs of cement across my drive, the metallic tang of wet concrete mixing with diesel fumes. And something darker, rage. That was the morning I decided the war had to end. I called my old army buddy and said 5 words, I need something permanently immovable. 6 months earlier, I'd thought I'd found peace. My name is Aaron Mitchell, 52, recently divorced, half my savings gone, and 20 years out of the military. I'd bought a modest corner lot in Maplewood Estates, a quiet neighborhood outside Boulder, a place with a wide circular driveway perfect for clients visiting my small IT consulting business. After years of following orders, I finally had freedom. I'd studied every line of the covenants and codes before buying, no rules against home-based work. Then I met Veronica Price, the self-proclaimed queen of Maplewood. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, and a spotless white Lexus she treated like sacred scripture. She'd been HOA president for 3 straight terms, and that should have been my first warning. Our first encounter came one Tuesday morning. I was loading routers into my F-150 when she appeared at the edge of my driveway, clutching a clipboard like a weapon. You'll need to move that commercial vehicle, she said. It's a personal truck, I replied. Which you use for commercial purposes, she snapped, clicking her pen like a trigger. You've got multiple cars coming each week. Disruptive. Her perfume smelled like a funeral bouquet drowned in hairspray. But it was her tone, the same one I'd heard from every power-hungry officer I'd ever served under, that made my jaw clench. I'll review the covenants, I said evenly. You do that, she smiled. Some people just aren't Maplewood material. 3 days later, a $150 fine arrived for unauthorized commercial vehicle storage, plus a threat of $500 daily penalties if I didn't cease operations within a week. The letter looked official enough to scare most people. But I wasn't most people. I spent the weekend buried in paperwork, county codes, covenants, ordinances. No clause banned what I did. Buried on page 46, though, I found her weapon, a vague, commercial vehicle, rule broad enough to outlaw pizza delivery. I requested an appeal hearing. Her assistant chirped, earliest slot 6 weeks out. But the fine is due in 7 days. Classic shakedown. I paid the fine, filed my appeal, and made 2 decisions. Document everything. Learn everything about Veronica Price, her methods, her weak spots, her habits. Because she hadn't fined me. She'd declared war. By November, my property had 4 night vision cameras. 2 weeks later, they caught her red-handed, literally. At 11:43 p.m., she was crouched on my driveway with surveyor's tape, her Lexus parked 3 houses down. The next morning, she appeared smiling like a shark. Aaron, she purred. We need to discuss your driveway situation. Funny, I said. I was just watching some footage from last night. For a split second, fear flickered across her face before she recovered. I was conducting an inspection, she said. We've received complaints. From who? That's confidential. I showed her a still frame from the footage, her, caught mid-trespass. Part of your inspection protocol? Her voice dropped an octave. You're being obstructive. And you're trespassing. I said calmly. Show me the covenant that bans my business. She tried to recite HOA code, but I was ready. I'd memorized Colorado Revised Statute 38-33-209, enforcement requires specific covenant language. No invention, no interpretation. Her expression hardened. We'll see about that. Emergency board meeting, Thursday at 7. Don't be late. That meeting looked more like a courtroom than a neighborhood discussion. 5 board members behind folding tables. Veronica opened with a PowerPoint titled Preserving Maplewood Standards. Drone shots of my property made it look like a truck depot. When it was my turn, I stood, handed out highlighted copies of the bylaws, and said, Page 12, home businesses allowed if they don't cause a nuisance. Page 15, commercial vehicles defined as over 10,000 pounds. Mine's 6,200. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Then I added, also, this meeting violates Colorado HOA procedure. Number 72-hour notice. It's illegal. Silence. From the back. A calm voice said, he's right. It was Charles Heller, a retired attorney. The board scattered like pigeons. But Veronica's glare told me it wasn't over. The next week, my truck was gone, towed from my own driveway. A neon notice read, illegally parked vehicle removed per HOA authority. Charles showed up 20 minutes later. Did you get a written notice? Nothing, I said. Then that's predatory towing, my friend, he said. Triple damages under Colorado law. We documented everything. Photos. Receipts. I got my truck back after paying $350, money that should have gone to groceries. That night, my doorbell rang. Mrs. Langford, 76, widowed, stood there holding a casserole and quiet fury. She did the same thing to the Harrisons, she whispered. Made them tear down their swing set for aesthetic harmony. Little girl cried while her father took it apart. How many others? I asked. Too many. I ate her casserole in the dark and began planning. Over the next weeks, my cameras caught Veronica stalking again, photos, measurements, and flyers titled Protect Our Community, the truth about commercial operations. Fake quotes. Fake outrage. Signed by something called the Maplewood Preservation Committee, meaning her. But the neighborhood was shifting. One by one, her victims came to me. The Harrisons. The Nguyen's. Fined for their garden. The Parkers, punished for their dog run. The Martinez family, whose son's basketball hoop was removed for being too noisy. Charles smiled grimly. She's breaking the oldest rule of power, conquer too many people at once, and they'll unite. He was right. One sleepless night, I dug through county records. That's when I found the smoking gun. Veronica Price owed $9.100 in unpaid HOA assessments. 2 years delinquent. Colorado law is crystal clear, board members behind on dues can't serve. Every fine, every meeting, every ruling she'd issued was void. I called Charles at dawn. She's disqualified, I said. He whistled softly. Then let's build her downfall brick by brick. For the next week, my kitchen became mission control. Charles called it Operation Stonewall. Papers covered every surface. Legal pads, statutes, blueprints. Then my old logistics buddy David Ortiz showed up, built like a tank, grinning like trouble. Sounds like you need something immovable, he said. He rolled out blueprints for 4 reinforced concrete planters, each weighing about 4 tons once filled, perfectly legal, perfectly immovable. Decorative stone finishes, hidden rebar skeletons, each measured exactly 42 inches tall, just under permit threshold. Charles examined the plans. Within code, within boundary. She can't touch it. We timed it perfectly. Veronica was away for the weekend at a real estate expo. 72 hours of freedom. Saturday dawned to the rumble of diesel engines. David's crew poured, leveled, and sealed those planters with military precision. By Sunday night, They stood like monuments, filled with evergreens, glowing softly under amber lights. Legal. Beautiful. Unbreakable. When Veronica returned Monday morning, she found an entire neighborhood waiting for the HOA meeting. Every chair filled. Channel 7 news cameras rolling. She strode in, eyes sharp, voice steady. "Thank you for coming. We're addressing ongoing violations that threaten our community." Her PowerPoint turned my driveway into a security threat. When my turn came, I stayed calm. "Let's read what the covenants actually say," I said. "And while we're at it, let's discuss unpaid assessments." Charles stepped forward, holding county documents. Under Colorado law, any board member delinquent in dues forfeits authority. Ms. Price owes $9,100, 18 months unpaid. The crowd gasped. Reporters scribbled. Cameras flashed. Veronica's mask shattered. "This is harassment," she shouted. The reporter asked, "Do you deny the delinquency?" Her voice faltered. She muttered something about accounting errors. Within minutes, the board voted unanimously for her removal. By the next morning, her resignation email arrived, cold and short. That weekend, her house listed for sale. Motivated seller. I watched her white Lexus drive away for the last time. No words, no wave. Just silence. Under President Eleanor Langford, Maplewood transformed. Meetings turned into potlucks. Transparency became policy. Property values rose 20% in 8 months, built on trust, not fear. David's company tripled in size, offering HOA-proof landscaping. Charles started homeowner workshops teaching people their rights. That fall, we hosted a fundraiser for veterans right in my driveway, where it all began. We raised over $7,000 for a scholarship fund. Now, 3 years later, the evergreens in those planters tower above the street. Kids climb them. Families laugh again. The air feels lighter. Sometimes I wonder where Veronica Price ended up. Maybe she learned something. Maybe not. But she taught me one truth. Bullies only have power if you let them. And sometimes, the best way to stop something immovable is to become something even more unbreakable yourself.